Yes, hello everyone. Thanks for joining Stateside Reds. We're here to talk about the Chelsea game that's just happened, where Man United women basically played Chelsea. It was an unfortunate 1-0 defeat, but it was a tough fought game. We was unlucky, to be honest, in my opinion. We should have done a lot better. We had a lot of chances. We should have taken more of our chances. For me in this game, I think we've done really well. We've shown ourselves. We've shown what we're about. We've put ourselves out there. But to be honest, we should have done better, and we should have really taken advantage. The fact that we haven't, I'm a bit disappointed with. Listen, anyone who's ever watching the game, you'll see the chances that we have. My concern now is how we're going to make sure this doesn't happen, because this is the third time that Chelsea have won on our ground, and this is what I say. It's not just about the men, it's about the women too. And, if this was in the men's side, do you think we'd take people coming to Old Trafford, which Chelsea have done last year? They beat us 6-0. Do you think we'd take it again the next year? No, we wouldn't. So for me, a lot more needs to be done to support and back the team. Towards the end of the game, Jade Riviere was pulling up. She was looking injured, and we're having to bring on Aoife Mannion. And I love Aoife Mannion. I think she's a great player, but we need someone of the experience and of the quality of Jade to be coming on, not just in and out. Players, of different levels. Players are always going to be at different levels, but I want a player of the consistent level. And that's what we need. That's what we need to develop. For me, we started off with Mallard as a 9, and then Grace in the 10, and Turland and Toon were on the bench. And for me, I think the team, the way it's set up, that was a good start for me. But I think, I would have had maybe kept Mallard on the left. She did miss 2 or 3 chances, but for me, she was creating everything. She was running the wings, going in behind the Chelsea defence. I would have kept Mallard on the left and then brought Turland on, and then maybe there's a crossing opportunity. There's someone in the box. Grace a couple of times on the edge had shots, went over or saved or pushed over. Listen, thank you, Stephen, for watching these videos. But pushed it over, and for me, I would have had maybe kept Grace on. Toon did come on. She was okay, but we needed to see more, especially from Toon and Turland. They did great link up in the derby last year, but at the Etihad, but it wasn't to be the other night against Chelsea. For me, like I said, Ineos need to back the women now. We're playing the derby on Sunday, Manchester derby. We need to go into that game and really go for it, because if we don't win that one, we're not getting Champions League. For me, this is why I think they've backed Mark Skinner too early. He made the right decisions at last week, but for me, I think he's a bit too negative with his tactics. And there's other games, games against Liverpool, games against Aston Villa at home, Brighton away, where we should have maybe gone and got more points than what we did, and then we might not have been worrying about the last 2 games, and we would have got it sorted earlier. So they've backed him, but now they have backed him. They need to really show it, not just in talking and this and investing in everything, in getting in the right coaching staff, getting in the right facilities, doing more to help the girls in the stadium and filling out like Old Trafford for this weekend. But not only that, filling out Lee more regularly, and then getting in the players. Like I said, Toon and Turland came on, they didn't really have that impact, but then we need to have more players who can come on, someone who can come on the right wing, someone who can come on the left wing, and keep up, instead of having to play the same sort of starting 11 over and over. Yes, Casey, what's good? I'm good. I'm doing this one live. Yeah, there's so much more, Mikey, that they can do. And for me, it's not to be negative upon what happened. I think they gave their all in that game, the girls. It's just Chelsea are a bit maybe old in the tooth and know how to do it, know how to get the best out and know how to win. Because for me, other than that one chance, they didn't have much else, and we kept them to that. From being beat 6-0 to 1-0. You don't want to get beat, but they've shown it in them. For me, Fallon, one of the players of the season this year. USA Reds, she's shining through. Jade Riviere, Canada Reds, these are the players that we need to come through. I thought Hinata Miyazawa and Dominic Janssen were amazing. We just need a bit more quality, and I think we'll get it done. Listen, guys, we're playing City, though, and we need to move on to that. It's a quick turnaround. It's on Saturday. It's about getting the result and supporting, MUFC, Charlie Glazer's out. You're saying it. Glazer's out. With them gone, we'll get a lot more. Did Gabby pick up an injury? Yeah, I think so. Because this is what a lot of people have said. Our fullbacks, they're fantastic when they're starting, but is the follow-up the same? And I think, I think she will play at the weekend, but can she play a full 90 minutes? Can Jade play a full 90 minutes? I think they can, but I think if they're constantly playing these 90 minutes, we need players to be coming in and being of that level to be able to replace them, to be able to rotate, to be able to give them the rest when they need it, because Gabby and Jade have been amazing, but when we're relying on them for FA Cup, League Cup, League, they're going to need some time and rest. And people are saying, well, we're not playing that many games, but it all catches up on you, and especially the way they're going for tackles. There's some nasty ones out there. Listen, anyone watch that Chelsea game, they'd see at the end, Millie Bright was kicking Turland, and they were kicking Jade, they were kicking Gabby. So this is what we need to, I suppose, get into it and make sure that the ref is protecting players, because that ref was atrocious on the weekend, and not the weekend, the game just gone. Mikey saying, I hope Jim gets knee sold and put some money into the girls. Yeah, man, because my only issue is he's going to put all the money into the men, and like I said, the men, I get it, we need to get Champions League, but the men will always come and get money. The men will always have that. And, we're hopefully going to beat Spurs in the final of the Europa League. But, the men will always have that money coming in consistently. Adidas recently said they want a lot more of their sponsorship to go to the women. So there's opportunities there if we put our mind to it and go for it. Even West Ham have, women sponsors. So we can get things done. We're Man United. We need to forget that, But yeah, let's win the derby on Sunday and get the European football, because that would be amazing. Men and women both in Europe. Imagine going from, we're both in Spain, or we're both out there one game after the other. That's what we want. That's what we should be aspiring for a big club like ours. We should be wanting and pushing both teams, all teams. The boys 23s, the girls 21s. We should want all these teams to be competing and showing what it means to be Man United. We shouldn't be seeing Chelsea come into our stadium and winning the league. It's not good. It's not right. It's not proper. It's, we should be standing up for Manchester, showing them, not just City, but showing everyone that Manchester's ready. You're not going to come here and bully us. So they got away with a lot, but we need to be putting it on them. I think we will, for the City game. Every time we played City, we've been on them. We've been pressuring them. They've not been able to handle it. Like I said, Chelsea are a bit old in the tooth, so they can sort of rummage it around with us. But, I think they're going to know now, these girls, that they need to step it up and get the 3 points, and it's done. I think even just a point and it's done, to be honest. But, we shouldn't be going into it like that. We should be going into it with a win. We've beaten them twice this season. We know we can do it. We've beaten them over the years. That head-to-head record's getting a lot better on our side. And we've only been a team for about 6 years. So, for me, we are there. But it's what we're going to do next year when we're in the Champions League, when we have to rotate. At the minute, maybe you can say, oh, we don't need to rotate. We can play the same team, but you're not going to be able to get away with that. It's been shown. We need a deep squad to be able to be competing on all fronts and be getting, further and being able to beat Chelsea and basically get this league title, because they've said they want to win a men and women trophy. So let's do it together. We did it last year with the FA Cup. We both won it. Now let's both get into Europe. And then, to be honest, let's beat Chelsea at Wembley. I know we can do it. We just need to show it, believe, and go for it. Listen, guys, I'll be speaking after the Derby game, maybe a couple of days later, but, hopefully it's done. Charlie, Casey, Mikey, everyone for joining in and doing it. I appreciate it. I'm going to love you and leave you. But thanks a lot. Yeah, it's going to be tough, Casey. It's going to be tough. You go into the Wembley, 2 years ago in a 90-minute, it's going to be tough. But I think we can do it because we've shown it. Now we just need to believe it. And that's the difference for me. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I appreciate it. Take care.